Hello folks, welcome back to another Beyond the Boundaries episode. Now today you find me in Norfolk. I'm in the district, or the borough should I say, of Kings Lynn and West Norfolk, and I'm standing in a car park. Now we're all familiar with park and ride schemes, aren't we? Normally when you park your car you've got a bus service you can take into town, or sometimes it's a tram service, sometimes it's even a train. Well, here in Kings Lynn you can take a ferry. This is a very unique park and ride service. Here is the car park, which is where I am parked, and the ride is over the river over here, which takes you straight into Kings Lynn town centre. So let's try out this ferry service, shall we? Let's hop aboard and make our way into Kings Lynn. Hello folks, today we're in West Lynn in Norfolk, which is on the western bank of a river, directly opposite the town of Kings Lynn. This is the river in question. It's the River Great Ouse, the 5th longest river in the United Kingdom. It separates West Lynn from Kings Lynn. Historically, the river was important for commercial navigation. At this point, it's on the final leg of its journey out to the sea. It flows into the Wash. Now, of course, there are bridges over the river between the two settlements, but you can also cross the river by way of a ferry. Beginning at 7 AM, the West Lynn Ferry crosses the Great Ouse several times a day. For most of the day, it runs on the hour and at 30:30. There's a bit of history about it here. River ferries are rare in the UK nowadays. A ferry has linked West Lynn to Kings Lynn, though, since 1285. Ships use the river too. Kings Lynn was once a prosperous port. During the 14th century, it was considered the most important in England. The ferry isn't for vehicles, it's a pedestrian-only service. If you come to it by car though, this free car park is provided. The ferry is operated by West Lynn Ferry Limited. It's quite a busy service. It carried 85,000 passengers in 2011 alone. As with other public transport in this country, there are restrictions, displayed here on this sign. This also tells you the fares. After a short wait for the time of departure, you make your way to the boat via a small jetty. It's cash only and you pay on board. Let's go over the river. Once on the other side, the first thing you have to do is walk up a narrow alleyway to get to the town centre. This is the only way in. In total, from the West Lynn riverbank to here on King Street, it's less than 5 minutes. It's a super quick way to get into the town centre. Kings Lynn is a very historic town. Seeing as the ferry back isn't for a short while, we're going to have a little look around while we're here. The main reason I came over here was for some food, and my establishment of choice was the Globe Hotel, which is a JD Wetherspoon's pub. It's right on the edge of the main town square, which is also known as the Tuesday Marketplace, which is surrounded by some fabulous architecture. It's also the location of the town's main car park, and I can assure you it's cheaper to use the ferry than it is to drive here and use this instead. The blue building over there is the Duke's Head Hotel, which was built in 1683 for Sir John Turner, who was the MP for King's Lynn. The rest of the square has so many more interesting buildings, but we don't have time for them all. Keep Turner in mind though for later. The Tuesday Marketplace has some gruesome history too. It was the location in 1590 of the burning of an alleged witch, Margaret Reed. It's said that whilst burning, her heart burst from her body and struck a wall, the spot of which is now marked by the carving of a heart. Next we have some shopping areas. King's Lynn is the prime retail centre in West Norfolk. It provides about 5,500 retail jobs. The town centre is dominated by budget shops, reflecting the spending power of much of the population. There are bars and restaurants too though. Here's one. This is Poco Lounge, located within the most gorgeous old black and white half-timbered building, which has two very regal lions guarding its entrance. Above it all is King's Lynn Minster, sometimes known as St Margaret's Church. It was established by Herbert de Lozinger, a former Bishop of Norwich. It served a Benedictine priory originally, but after the English Reformation, it became King's Lynn's parish church. It's open daily. The checked building opposite is the town's medieval Guildhall. Built between 1422 and 1428, it replaced an older hall that was destroyed by fire in 1421. This part of the town is full of narrow streets and other gorgeous old buildings. It's known as the Historic Quarter, and it's well worth a visit. You can access the river in several places here. It's on this part of the river that you can see the Baden Powell, which is a restored fishing smack. However, on this occasion it wasn't here. Built in 1900, the boat, a 32-foot long wooden cockler, often runs trips on the Great Ouse. Next we head through King's Staithe Square and into a small quay, where there's a statue of one of King's Lynn's most famous sons. That would be the sea captain George Vancouver. In the 1700s, he explored and charted some of the western coasts of North America. These included British Columbia and Alaska, and he also explored the Hawaiian Islands and the southwest coast of Australia too. The city of Vancouver in Canada is named after him. This quay, by the way, is known as the Purfleet, and there's some history of it here on this board. It seems ships are regular visitors to this quay if these items on it are anything to go by. This is literally just around the corner from the statue. Lastly, we have the Custom House, one of the town's most iconic landmarks. It was designed by architect Henry Bell and built by Sir John Turner in 1683. After walking back down King Street, we're back to where we began. Before we get the ferry back, it's time to head to the pub. And of course, the other advantage you have by taking the ferry across and not having to drive is that when you get to the pub, you can have one of these. Cheers. There you go, there's the West Lynn Ferry, an easy way to get from this side of the river straight into Kings Lynn town centre. Easy and cheap as well, and very convenient for the people who live over on this side of the River Great Ouse. There you go, another Beyond the Boundaries episode for you. There'll be another one coming soon, hopefully. Hope you enjoyed that one. I know I did. I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiot, and I'm out.